fans with us today. He is one of the baddest no prep racers that wears many hats, but will smoke you on the track and burn one down with you afterwards with a pat on the back. Coming to us from some call it the UP, others call it the Dirty Glove. Ladies and gentlemen, from Eaton Rapids, Michigan, I give to you Jasper Graham.
How we doing, everyone?
That was a great intro. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Eeez N Beez. This, like I said, is a long time coming. Finally, getting Jasper here on. I know we've been back and forth for, probably over a year and a half, 2 years. And he's reached out to me, and we've got him on here to obviously spill a little beans, learn a little bit about Jasper if you haven't known anything about him just yet. And obviously, we're going to throw some fun questions at him to pick his brain. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
All right, Jasper, tell the fans and listeners out there, how did you get your start in the no prep world?
I attribute a ton of that to Brandon Mork. I bought the original white car. I got a really good deal on it. It was pretty crazy, like how I got it for like $3,000. I already had a cage, only had 19,000 miles. I was gonna make it a car that I cruised around with my kids with a Whipple charger on it. I was gonna put a 4.6 in it and cruise around and do burnouts. Well, luckily for a couple reasons, we didn't do that. One was the roads in Michigan are absolute trash, so it's no fun to even drive a cool car. And two, I bought some rims for it, some Weld RTSs off Brandon. We met in Gary, Indiana. I thought we were going to die at this McDonald's we went to. And then ended up meeting him at the truck stop. And when I got there, he was like, don't do this. Like, don't go buy a Whipple charger. Buy this old twin turbo kit that I have for a 4.6 and come no prep with us. You won't like it. As soon as you run like a high 9, you'll be bored. And that's kind of how we got into it.
Kind of the rest is history, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, of course, I got my first taste of you, obviously, last season there at War in the Woods in my home state, Indiana, as you spoke. And probably still one of the baddest burnouts I've ever seen personally, up front and close. I got an awesome video. Hopefully, maybe one day I'll share it with you. But I got to ask you this. What's one of your favorite things about no prep racing, Jasper?
War in the Woods.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like I can just say like that has everything that I enjoy, you know. It's a great group of people. There's more fans there than anywhere else. It's the only track I try to explain to a lot of drivers, and I hope a lot that haven't been there yet that are coming for this big race understand like it is not like anywhere else. Like after you do this for so many years, we've been doing it for 4 now, you know, pretty much all over. You get really comfortable. Like when I'm at Onondaga or Milan or we're at Hardinsburg or we're somewhere in Ohio, even like Hartshorn, Oklahoma, you know, like I'm not even worried. I have no thoughts. I don't care how long the guy takes next to me, all that stuff. Like we do our own thing and we go. When you're at War in the Woods, like the whole time I'm in the car, I am constantly thinking, if this happens, I need to be ready for this. I'm reaching for my parachute mount, like, or lever, you know, to make sure that I'm super aware of that because the shutdown's short and you're trying to stop. So like, there's so much more to that place than anywhere else. It's my favorite place. That's probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I could agree with you. I know a lot out there probably would say exactly the same things you said there. Now, I got to shine a little light on something else that kind of trickles into what you've already spoken, and that's the racing family. Part of the reason, mainly why we got you on here today is because some of these things that go unseen. Now, last year, we know there was a terrible wreck there at War in the Woods, but I want to shine the light on the fact that this racing community cares for everyone. Yes, you might line up right next to your opponent, your rival, who it may be, and want to beat them so badly. But when you see something like that happen, it's the racing community that means the most. And I want to give a shout out to you for being one of those people out there that always are giving those people that are in need, that, have a bad accident, that, something mishappen, or just trying to make that race. You and your program and your people shout out from us, are always one of the ones that are on top and the first to the plate. And I think it's awesome. And that's what I want to shout out to here on the Eeez N Beez. Thank you so much for being you and doing that, because that makes this community and the racing family that much stronger.
Yeah, I've always believed my whole life, even outside of racing, that, I do a lot for a lot of people, and I always feel it comes back. Like, that's how I keep floating, and I never worry, as weird as that is, like, a lot of people would worry, if they have no money or whatever at times. I've just never worried. I've always known something will come around. Joe Williams at Bipolar is super like that. That's why we get along so well, is that guy helped so many people. A lot of my sponsors are that way too. Like, and man, I really don't want this to come out the wrong way. We've never asked for a sponsor, like, if that makes sense. I've never made a post. I've never asked. And I have no issues with people that do. I totally understand it. And some of them, the sponsors are getting something out of that, obviously, if they're paying in. So there's no harm in asking. We never have, just because I've always, I've been so broke at times in my life that to sit where I am now with a nice 5-bedroom house, 4 kids, beautiful wife, truck, trailer, $100,000 car, some of the best friends and people around me in the world, like, I don't know how you get depressed. You know what I mean? Like, I can't not support, other people if I'm sitting here, and then in the same breath, we can't ask for something more. You know what I mean? Like, it's real hard for me to want to ask someone for something right now when this is the life I've always dreamed of, and we have it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the good ones always are just like you. And I think, like I said, the light needs to be shined on more people like you when it comes to things like this. You don't always have to have the best of stuff, the most money, and all that to be a person like you. And that's just my opinion. All right, let's keep going here, Jasper. How about this? If you could change one thing in the no prep world, what would you change?
Oh man, I guess right now, starting this year, I thought this year's been really rough, and everyone's had a pretty bad attitude and a lot of bickering and fighting. I wish we could eliminate that. I wish, like I said, I wish more people were looking at it like we do, where you're pretty lucky to be doing something like this in America, not stuck in some other country, bugs or something. So I wish more people would not take it so personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're a group that loves to burn each other too, and I have to be very careful, who I burn or who I say, because some people take it the wrong way. I wish it was more loose, I guess.
Yeah, it
It's
seems like
starting to tighten
tensions.
up.
Yeah, it seems like tensions
in.
are a lot harder this season for some odd reason. I mean, everybody obviously are going a lot faster. There's a lot of more, or I should say, there's a lot more new rides being availed and all that good stuff. So yeah, I can agree with you. I wish things would kind of lighten up. We're all in this together, and all are obviously going for the same goal. But all right, let's switch things up on them a little bit here, Jasper. Get to some of those fun ones. We'll get back to a couple more races before we wrap this up. Make sure you guys go give Jasper a follow there on all of the social media outlets. You're listening to the Eeez N Beez Podcast, the best breakfast wrestling sports podcast on your Friday. Jasper, I got to know, you're having breakfast with any celebrity or race car driver out there. Who you having breakfast with, and what are you having?
Dead or alive?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Nikola Tesla.
Oh, okay.
And I'd be having a Robin's Nest skillet from my hometown. My buddy Gruball that I grew up with my whole life, his parents and him own that. And I have no idea what Nikola would eat. Probably like eggs over just eggs or something.
All right.
I imagine quirky, but
sounds delish. Sounds delish.
That'd be who.
How about this one? This is one of my new favorite ones. Let's say that you have walk up, or we should say drive up music each time you come to race. When you step into that water box, Jasper, what music or song will be playing for you?
I'll say Donald Trump, Mac Miller.
Okay. All right. I like. Definitely. A little bit of hype there, a little DT. How about this one? I know you've been waiting on this one. The movie of your life is coming out this weekend. Who's playing you, and what's the name of it?
Man, so like ever since I've heard you ask this, I've thought so long and hard, and it's such a tough one. I think the guy that would be playing me would be I can't I'm gonna have to look up his name real quick, but it's Jack from Lost. Like, have you ever watched the show Lost?
Not sure, not familiar with that guy.
Stuck on an island or something. I'll find his name real quick. Cast Matthew Fox.
Matthew
He was in
Fox.
Party of Five too, now that I think about it.
Okay, all right. And what's the name of that movie gonna be, Jasper?
Mistakes Made.
Mistakes Made. I like it. I like it. All right. All right, let's get back to a little bit of racing talk before we turn the tables over to you and promote yourself and what you got going on here in this 2023 season. But I got to know this. If you had to choose one, would you choose front, back, or the street?
Street.
Nice. Yes. Shout out to Lippy. I love
there's just
when people
nothing
say that.
like that. Like
it
the whole
is the
feel
equalizer.
Of it,
yes.
The worry that, and I'm talking more real street. Like, don't get me wrong, Hartshorn is amazing. I love racing on the street in Hartshorn, but it's a sanctioned event. Like, when we're on the street and the cops could come, there's just so much more risk and so much more, like, you're on edge. You're like, then you're in the car kind of like, let's get this going. Like, why is this guy taking so long? It's just a lot more fun.
And I'm sure once you get past those lights, probably perfect, right?
Off the big end and stuff, and it's safe. I love it. We have a car that don't even have a title, so like we're always super nervous, like, because when Jeff Thomas got his, we know what it takes to get it back, and we do not have that. So I don't know how that'll end up going, but I'm sure
hopefully we never will have to worry about that. How about this one, Jasper? You only get 2 races this year to choose from. What 2 races are you choosing?
I'd go to Gangster's Paradise, and since that's like what gonna be like War in the Woods, I won't pick War in the Woods next. I'd say Trails with Josh Robinson.
Oh, all right. Shout out to OGR. Absolutely. Last year, one of the baddest races last year. I loved seeing that one. All right, one more here for you. How about this? To this date right now, what is the most memorable run you have had?
So it's kind of 2 runs. We had a back-to-back PYOP in Detroit. This is back when I still had a 4.6. Car was pretty stock. Beater Bomb came. We drew Beater Bomb the first day, I think in the second round, and we lost by like a fender. And I definitely guessed the light on him pretty good. But it was like that moment, even though we lost, to me, that was that moment where I realized, like, okay, we're not that far off. Like, if I race Beater Bomb 10 times, I'll probably lose 10 times, but we're that close. Like, so then the next day, it was the same, race, just 2 days in a row at the same place, kind of like Gangster's Paradise is going to be. And I ended up, we were both going through the field, and we met in the semifinal with 4 of us left. And at that point, when I pulled up, I told my guys, we threw the kitchen sink at it. So we were pretty confident it was going to spin. It ended up holding, but we lost again by a fender. It was almost, if you play the 2 videos side by side, you can't even tell they're different. But what made us even more pumped then was he won the day before, and we were down to the last 4. So he had probably had 7, 8 hits on that surface or more. And we got him, where it wasn't like we snuck him the first time because he had just he'd never been there before. And we had been there a lot. Like, I had made a lot of passes there. He had made 0. So the first day in the second round, it really I didn't feel like showed me, what he's capable of or whatever. But on the second day, when it was down to the last 4 and we only lost by a fender, I felt like, all right, we're here. And then we started really, really, really focusing on it. Like, we started really trying to, figure things out. We were writing things down in a notebook, trying to keep data. Before, we were just kind of very loose, we're still very loose.
Well, you can say that how you want, but I can say this. I've been keeping an eye on you, like I said, for now over a year and a half, however you may look at it. And I know things have progressed. And yes, you've had some issues, But we are so excited and we cannot wait to see you back on that track. Can you tell my fans and listeners what you got up your sleeve and when that possibly may be?
We're hoping to test this week. So yesterday we were putting the motor together. We should finish tonight. And then that's all that was really wrong with my car. That's another thing that I'm really excited for is I have never in all the 4 years started the year with the same combo and same stuff. We've always had big drastic changes. I mean, obviously when we crashed the white car, we went to the orange one for a second. Then we went to a double frame rail like what we have now. It took us a second to figure that out. It was very, very stiff. So like we had to, I mean, just to be honest, we didn't know any, in the white car, it was add more weight, take more weight out. Now with this car, it's that and a lot of suspension changes. Like it's very touchy to what's going on and bumps and stuff. So we have to be really on top of it. But we're really pumped because we finally get to start with the same stuff. We're learning a whole new boost curve and what powers what. And now we're in a 1,000-pound lighter car or something. It's just, we're ready to go.
I got all confidence in the world. It'll be like riding a bike for you guys. You'll be right back in it. No time at all. And hey, the new stuff, it's going to stick like glue. That's just what I see. And that's what I know from coming from my end. But before we get off here, I got just a couple more here. Let's switch the gears a little bit. Let me ask you a couple of sporting questions there, Jasper.
Yes, I was hoping you'd do this because, like,
we are definitely in the playoff time on the ice and on the hardwood, so we'll stick to those two just for a real quick one. Give me your hockey predictions. Who's playing in the Stanley Cup and who's taking it home?
So, super bummer because I love watching hockey, but I have no idea at this point who's in the playoffs or what's going on.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched
No
it all.
That's all right.
Which I said, I feel bad for this because anytime I ever watch it, I do enjoy it. And I have a ton of friends that are way into it.
Well, I'll give you my predictions. Obviously, coming off of the defending reigning champion Colorado Avs, I'm going to have to roll with the home squad. But there's a big but there. The Boston Bruins breaking all the records this year, scoring all the points. Are they going to be out of gas or are they going to be the team to beat? That's the big question. Now, do you know what's going on the hardwood?
Yeah, I've been following it some. The NBA is super. Like my biggest sport is college basketball and the Spartans. Tom Izzo and them.
Okay.
And then right now I'm watching Talladega, and my guy is retiring. But on the hardwood, I follow the Golden State Warriors because of Draymond being from the Spartans, and he always, pisses everyone off, and he's a complete idiot. And then Steph is just amazing. My opinion is like, I don't know. He is he like changed the game of basketball, and it was pretty amazing to watch. There's like Jordan, there's Kobe, which were almost identical. Like they both wanted to kill you. They wanted to embarrass you. They wanted, like, while they were up 50, they still wanted to dunk on you.
Yep.
I love that, like that much tenacity or whatever. Steph went about it such a different way. I'm definitely not a LeBron fan, but it is shocking that he's going on the Grizzlies. Obviously, I like the Grizzlies a little bit because they have Tillman and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jaren Jackson, yep.
Yep.
Jaren Jackson Jr. this year's rebound champion there. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so let's ask you this. What do you predict on the Spartans on the hardwood this next upcoming season? Obviously,
I think they get the national.
Let's face it, you guys had a rough Big Ten season, but my boss is a huge Spartan fan, and like I told him before the tournament started, we all know what Izzo does. Every single year he does this, and there was no reason to be worried. Yeah, you guys win as far as pretty much anyone in the Big Ten, but do you think it's going to be just as good or better coming up this next season?
Ridiculously better. So we returned everyone but Hauser, and then Akins just declared for the draft, but he can come back in that new scenario they have.
Yep.
And then we've got, I think, the number 3 recruiting class where we got Xavier Booker, which is the 3rd best player in the country, and then Jeremy Fears, which is like the 20th, and then we got like the 50th and the 60th. And then returning, Malik and Tyson Walker and Hogarth and all them. I'm feeling pretty good as a Spartan for next year.
All right. I think we're gonna have to put a little bet on the
Although
side.
Indiana-wise,
my Hoosiers versus your spot. I think we're gonna have to do something about
Purdue
that.
is returning everyone too.
For who?
I know.
For who?
But I couldn't believe Edey came back. Like, I thought that was so wild.
He's good, but he's only good right inside that bucket area. No offense. I mean, give it to him. He's going to score 30 points, but if you shut down the rest of that squad, they're nothing. Yep. They've been like that since I was born in 81. That's just
and then
the way
I think Indiana will be good too.
I think we'll be a sleeper pick. We're losing some players, but we've got some recruits
coming in.
They got a good
class, and I think they got a really good transfer.
Caleb Love could possibly be coming from North Carolina. There's a good chance. I can't wait. We'll definitely maybe come basketball, get you back on and dive a lot more into that. Hey, before I get you out of here, though, I got to ask you one more, the famous Eeez N Beez question, as we always do here with our guests. Jasper, when it's all said and done and your racing career's up and you're putting the helmet on the shelf, what do you want the Jasper Graham legacy to be?
I guess I would just want them to say that guy was one of the, the most down-to-earth dudes at the track. He was never in there trying to fight people. He was never in there trying to rip someone off. He paid all his bets. I don't know. I'll take partied harder than everyone else. Hopefully they say what's true. That his trailer was the trailer to be at every night when the racing was over.
Amen to that. I hope to be a part of that this season coming around. Jasper, before I go, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell my fans and listeners out there where they can find you at on all the socials.
I think we have LL Spool J on Facebook page. We have an LL Spool J on Instagram. We have Buddy Burnswell, which is like a character I play for the Turn and Burn sponsor. And then we have a Second Tight YouTube channel right now. The people that helped me have been bugging me so bad because we made one video. A lot of people liked it. We were going to do some more and I just slacked off, but it'll get going here now that we got the car back up and we're at the track with all the people. I think that's it for finding me online.
Awesome stuff, man. Like I said, dude, I cannot wait to see you put that helmet on, those belts on, and get back on the track. Obviously, we'll be tracking that here at the Eeez N Beez, buddy. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you here on the Eeez N Beez podcast. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. And until next time, it's the man that wears many hats and will burn one down with you and give you a pat on the back after he kicks your ass. Coming to us from Eaton Rapids, Michigan, it's Jasper Graham. Thanks, my man.